Welcome to eSports, where football legends live on. Today, we're talking about Ronaldinho, a name that doesn't just remind us of football. It reminds us of joy, magic, and a pure love for the game. Ronaldinho didn't just play football, he danced with the ball. He confused defenders, made fans smile, and turned matches into carnivals. From no-look passes and insane dribbles to that cheeky smile before a free kick. And that unforgettable goal versus England in the 2002 World Cup. He made us fall in love with football all over again. But where is he now? What really happened to Ronaldinho, the happiest man in football? Let's rewind. In the early 2000s, he was on top of the football world. World Cup winner in 2002. At just 22, Ballon d'Or winner in 2005. The man who revived Barcelona. Messi's first football idol and mentor. Even rival fans respected him. Because he played with freedom, with soul, with joy. But that fire didn't last forever. The decline came fast. By 2010, his level dropped. Partying, poor fitness, lack of motivation, it all caught up. He left Milan, bounced around clubs in Brazil, Mexico. And in 2015, he quietly retired. No farewell match, no big send-off, just a silence. And then things got worse. In 2020, the world was shocked. Ronaldinho was arrested in Paraguay for using a fake passport. Yes, the same Ronaldinho. In jail, he spent over a month behind bars. Played football in slippers, took selfies, still smiled. It was strange, but behind the smile, there was pain. Tax issues back in Brazil, rumors of bankruptcy. Reports saying his bank account had almost no money left. The man who once lit up the Camp Nou was now lost in the dark. But here's the thing, one part of Ronaldinho never died, his spark. Even in prison, he smiled. Even in tough times, he was like a kid with a ball. Because he never played for money, he played for the love of the game. He was the last true street footballer, and he never changed. These days, he's rebuilding his life. He appears at FIFA events, plays in Legends matches, travels the world as a football ambassador. He mentors young Brazilians, supports futsal in poor areas, and reminds us what football is really about, fun. Last year, he said in an interview, "Greater than yeah, I made mistakes. I lived fast, but I don't regret it. I lived with joy." That's Ronaldinho in one sentence. He might never become a coach. He might not make a football comeback like Zidane or Ronaldo, but he doesn't need to. Because he already gave football something no one else ever did. Joy, magic, freedom. He reminded us why we fell in love with the game. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite Ronaldinho moment? That no-look pass, that goal versus Chelsea? Or the day Real Madrid fans gave him a standing ovation at the Bernabeu? Drop it in the comments, we read everyone. And today, we're going back to the beginning, before the trophies, before the glory. Before the world knew the name Zinedine Zidane. We're telling the story of a boy with no money, no spotlight. Just one broken pair of shoes, and a dream bigger than the streets he walked on. Zinedine Zidane was born in 1972, in La Castellana, a rough, working-class neighborhood on the edge of Marseille, France. His parents were Algerian immigrants. They had 5 children. No luxuries, no vacations, just survival. Zidane grew up surrounded by poverty, crime, and tension. But he also grew up with something else, football. There was a small concrete square between the apartment blocks, no grass, no goals, no refs, just chaos. But to young Zizou, it was everything. That was his pitch, his escape, his school. There's a story his first coach used to tell, one that defines the soul of Zidane. One day, Zinedine showed up to training with shoes so worn out, they barely held together. The sole was flapping, the fabric torn, his socks visible. His coach, Jean Varad, looked at him and said, "Zinedine, why don't you throw those away?" Zidane looked him dead in the eye and said, "Because I still have dreams to chase." That answer stuck. It wasn't just about football, it was about fire, it was about belief. Coach Varad didn't say anything, he simply went out the next day and bought Zidane a new pair of boots. They weren't flashy, but they were clean, whole, and full of silent promise. And Zinedine, he never forgot. From there, the rise was relentless. At 14, he joined Cannes. At 17, he made his professional debut. By 24, he was the most elegant midfielder in Europe. But Zidane never forgot those streets or those shoes. In 1998, he gave France its first ever World Cup, scoring twice in the final against Brazil. In 2000, he won the Euros. In 2002, he scored that volley for Real Madrid, one of the greatest goals in Champions League history. Then, as a coach, he delivered an impossible feat: 3 consecutive UCL titles with Real Madrid. But through it all, the headlines, the Ballon d'Or, the fame, he stayed grounded. Because he knew where he came from, and what it cost to rise above it. Let's talk numbers and legacy. 125 career goals as a midfielder, 108 caps for France. World Cup winner 1998, Euro winner 2000, Champions League winner 2002. Ballon d'Or 1998, FIFA World Player of the Year 3x. UCL winning coach, 3 years in a row. But Zidane's true greatness, it wasn't just in the goals he scored. It was in the silence, the class, the calm storm behind his eyes. He didn't scream, he didn't dance. He just moved, like poetry in motion. Today, Zidane is retired from coaching. But he remains a symbol of elegance, of strength, of humble greatness. From the streets of Marseille to the lights of the Bernabeu. From torn shoes to golden boots. Zidane's journey isn't just a football story, it's a human story. So now we ask you, what's your Zidane moment? That volley, that headbutt, that look of calm before the storm. Tell us in the comments, we want to hear your story. And if this moved you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to eSports for more football stories that go beyond the game. Because legends don't just play the game. They change it forever, and Zidane, he did it with grace. And a pair of broken shoes.